Oh, there you are. Greetings. Hello. It's just gone midday. Don't panic. Yes, I know. I'm quite full screen at the moment. I don't like seeing me on full screen either. Here he is. Hello. Now, at the moment, I'm afraid that you might be able to see Russ, but you won't be able to hear him because it looks like he's got some sound issues going on. Where at the moment, it even has a little mute microphone next to his name. Ah,
hello,
there you
hello,
go.
Hello.
Hi. There you go. You can sort of hear him. Anyway, but this is the beauty of it being a live program, of course, is that unfortunately technology will once in a while betwixt us. It's fine. Anyway, it's just gone midday. This is Midday Show. He's Russ Kane somewhere in the digital green room and hopefully going to fix some issues or something or other. He'll be along in just a moment. And you've got yours truly, Phil Dave. Yes, I'm back after I think it's been a month in total hiatus from this show, which I'm ashamed of, really, because actually I do love the Midday Show, but regrettably just work has been a little bit, well, hectic of late, to be honest with you. It's been a case of trying to juggle 100 different things and not really succeeding terribly well. So getting there bit by bit, but I'm afraid that this is the first time I've had the chance to actually partake in said program for a while. Russ will hopefully be along in just a moment. I can see him sorting out the technicals right now as we speak, so don't you worry, he'll be along shortly. But how are you? I've been away. I've been on holiday. Actually, I'm fairly sure Russ is going to probably want to have a little chat about said holiday, because I know that he, amongst others, was slightly concerned as to whether or not that I would make it back in one piece. You see, I went to Israel for a couple of weeks, which I know at the time, I hate trying to explain this to people, because at the time when I said I was going to Israel, there were a couple of people who said, what the heck are you doing? Are you absolutely mad? It is a question that I'm quite used to hearing on many an occasion. But any odd way. Russell, can we hear you?
Yeah, you can hear me. I don't know what's going on with the sound. That's why I was
quietly. He'll have to chat.
I've been here since 22, so not quite sure why it's going on. Anyway, welcome back from wherever you've been, dear.
Thanks. I've been to Israel.
Yes, I am. And how's it?
Now you know that was divine intervention. That's why his microphone's been quietened.
How was it? I want to know.
The short answer is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And look, I'm going to get the elephant in the room. And believe me, there's no room for me in where I am, let alone an elephant. But I'm in a little booth. Are you in a coal cellar?
Are you down in a coal cellar or something?
Yeah, well, you'd be forgiven for thinking so, but no, I'm actually in a little booth. So this is one of those. I think they call them office pods.
Oh, Christ!
Right, it's a modern found thingy. And what happens is it's a soundproof little box. It's about the size of a telephone booth, and you sort of have a little bench in here, a little stool, and an adjustable desk that goes. Oh, actually, no, it's the stool that goes up and down. There you go. That's better. There you go. I'm more in shot now. There you go. So I'm in this booth, which it's marvelous for soundproofing, but it has to be said, it's quite claustrophobic in here.
Yes, anyway. Yes, I'm feeling claustrophobic just looking at you. Yeah,
I'm not surprised. I'm very closed in.
You're about to do a hostage video.
Well, I could be. I've just come back from Israel, so
there you go.
Anyway, speaking of Israel, sorry. The country itself is marvelous. There's a very, very strange atmosphere over there at the moment, as you would well expect. Rosemary, thank you. It's good to be back. A very strange atmosphere, as you would expect at the moment. It can only be described as life is kind of normal, but everywhere you go, there are reminders that there is a war going on, whether it be about messages about releasing the hostages or whether it's peace signs saying end the war now, that kind of thing. So there's always a reminder on every single street you go.
What, like a poster or graffiti? What are we talking about to get a picture? Because
it's both.
We only get the mainstream media bullshit news. I want to hear it from someone who's been there.
Oh, yeah. No. It's both. So there are plenty of bill stickers around. You know, they've had these properly printed and stuff, and they stick them all over the place with the names of those being held hostage. And what I find particularly unbearable to look at is the way that you've got the original design of the posters has the name of the person along with the age that they were when they were captive, when they were held captive. And for those who are still being held hostage, they've crossed out the numbers of their ages and drawn next to them their current age, because of course so many of them have had now birthdays, if you can even call it birthdays, whilst being held hostage. So that's pretty unpleasant to look at. But anyway, one way or another, the country itself has got the most remarkable spirit. And actually, I have to say that in spite of actually being obviously in the middle of a war-torn country, I wasn't obviously in the war zone, you understand. I didn't go to Gaza. But
You didn't? You could have solved it.
Well, I think I could have done very easily. But then again, my method wouldn't be very popular.
What you'd say is, I'm seeing your scarves. It's too much. Have you thought of just a cravat?
Yes.
And I think you would have resolved the entire issue.
I could have done, actually. Yeah, cravat season is upon us once more. You might have noticed over the summer I wasn't wearing very many of them.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Cravats
you were
have
just
returned.
Tempting the women with your sexy neck.
Well, just didn't like to say anything, but no. If one has that good a quality chicken neck, you don't really want to keep it to yourself.
No, you do not.
No.
Why should you?
And but the actual country itself got the most amazing spirit. It is trying to carry on regardless, but obviously there's a very, very dark cloud hanging overhead. And in spite of being in the middle of a war, I actually only was caught up in 2 air raids, so that wasn't terrible.
Now, we went and had dinner with one of my oldest friends. He and I go back to when we were both articled clerks to a firm of solicitors. I was on £4 a week plus lunch and vouchers, and he was on £7 a week plus lunch and vouchers. He did rather better than I did. And we had dinner. He lives most of his time in Israel. And it was explaining about safe rooms, about the warnings you get on your phone. And until you've sat with an old pal who you've known since the very early 70s, an old pal, looked at his phone and seen these warnings, you have no idea what it must be like. I was like, how come you're so brave? He says, I'm not brave. And he's like me. He's not like a brave guy. I mean, you're much braver than the two of us put together. But it's just part of life, and that's how they take it out there. Yeah, that's it.
That's the home front application.
Yeah.
And what they do, this is geographically controlled. And controlled, I mean the alerts are geographically controlled.
Yeah.
So depending on where you are in the country, the home front application will ping at you, regardless if you've got it on silent mode or anything like that. It overrides all of that.
It doesn't matter. You can have it on
overrides all
you
of
can
that.
have it off or something. Even have the phone
Yeah,
off.
no, it pings regardless. Absolutely regardless. Yeah. It flashes up, and they use a very sort of almost woolly term in my view. They use the term "an event is expected."
An event, yes,
an event. Area.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I love. By the way, that's a missile.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a rocket. It's not an event.
It's a rocket coming in to blow you to smithereens.
Enemy fire is expected, is what they're basically saying. But I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to keep calm, which is a very sensible way to deal with it, because you can't really get flustered in that sort of situation. I'm not being funny. If you get flustered, then you're just making the situation 100 times worse.
Absolutely.
So you get the alert. Says an event is expected within the next few minutes. Please make your way to the nearest shelter. And there are shelters everywhere. You are, technically speaking, I think statistically speaking, in Israel, never further away than a 2 or 3 minute walk from the nearest public shelter.
Yeah.
Which is quite extraordinary when you think of it, because you'd be forgiven for thinking there are shelters everywhere. But actually, the way it works, it's very clever, is that they've adapted an awful lot of buildings to be able to cope with enemy fire. So, for example, in a hotel, such as the one I was at, the hotel I was staying in, the safe zone, as it's known, would have been the internal stairwell.
Yes,
so you'd go to the internal stairwell. You have to go down to a floor where there are no windows. That's very important, because if the impact, the blast blows the window out,
it's the blast.
It's dangerous.
It's the blast that happens.
Yeah. So you have to go down to a floor where there are no windows, which for me was just one floor below. And because the staircase is concrete, it's deemed structurally sound, so it's fine. But the alert goes off. You go to the safe zone, or you go near the safe zone, and then if the sirens go off, you go into the safe zone. Does that make sense? You don't actually go. You don't have to go into it. They just say be on standby, be near it, just in case. So the alert is telling you, get yourself ready. So, for example, one of the alerts went off at 4 a.m. for me one time. So it was Friday night, Saturday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately,
was it far for you to go from the bar to the safe zone? As it was 4
I slept through the alert, which was not completely ideal, because the next thing I heard was the siren. The siren was what woke me up. So, of course, by the siren, you're supposed to go straight into the shelter. Of course, I didn't completely have time to do that. So what I had to do was quickly get up, very quickly make myself remotely decent, grab the emergency
Like they
kit.
haven't suffered enough. They don't need to see,
I know no one needs to see
no one
that.
needs to see bits and pieces of the film.
Grabbed the
Waving
you're amazed
at
that all of the bits and pieces have come back in one piece.
Well,
but anyway, grabbed the emergency backpack that I kept by the door to the hotel and just made a beeline.
Was that with that was what, the peated single malt, presumably? In
Yes, absolutely, and the metal straw, because the paper straws wouldn't survive the blast, you see. So I have to have the metal straw so that it survives, and I've always got a regular supply of energy.
You and your metal straws, I know. You think he's joking? I've seen them. Anywho, it's
so the bottom line is
the thing you're not explaining is that when these things flash up, which I couldn't understand on my friend's phone, we're not talking about it's expected in half an hour. You got about 4 minutes.
If that. The alert is minutes away. And then the sirens go off and that's it. Get the hell to the safe zone immediately.
Get out of Dodge.
Now the truth is, and I'm going to be honest with you, actually,
why you're in media? Don't bother. You're letting it with your colleagues down. Just lie.
I've got to be honest with you.
To be Jimmy Kimmel, just lie your face off.
I was fully expecting to be absolutely terrified when that happened, and I knew that it was a real possibility. I wasn't under any delusion. I knew I was going into a country that was very much at war at the moment, has its troubles, and of course there are plenty of people who said to me, possibly yourself included, "Are you mad? What on earth are you going to Israel for crying out loud?"
I didn't say that to you.
No, but I'm saying there are plenty of people who did say to me, like, "What the heck are you going there for?" And the truth is, because in spite of all of this, I actually genuinely believe I felt safer there than I do here at the moment. And so there's an irony for you. Now, the reason why I feel safe is because technically speaking, and statistically speaking as well, the success rate of the Iron Dome, and the Iron Dome, for those who don't know, is the missile interception system that Israel has across the country to protect itself from enemy fire. Along with other interception systems as well. They don't really necessarily have a name as such, and if they do, I can't remember it. But Iron Dome is the most famous one. And because the success rate of that is so unbelievably high, the country is intact, pretty much. But when Iran struck a couple of months ago, and they properly bombarded, unfortunately, the Iron Dome...
horrendous. My friend and his family were there, because they lived there, and that was serious.
Yeah, they said that was very, very scary. Because then you could be in the shelter for ages. They didn't actually know how long. Normally, within 10 minutes, it's over with. Because what happens is the rebel factions, they will fire their rockets over, but they normally do one or two at a time because they're so freaking stupid. They don't actually know how to manage the armor, so they actually can't fire it properly. A lot of the time, it misses. A lot of the time, it doesn't even reach the land. It goes into the sea. And the truth is that it really is hit and miss. But with Iran, it was slightly more serious. And unfortunately, they have a bit more sort of expertise, shall we say, in that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And as a result of it, in an area where I used to stay, when I used to visit every year, got quite badly hit. So when I was there, I took a couple of photos of said area, and it was quite disturbing because, of course, these are places that I used to go to, and now they're just bomb sites. And this is probably the best example of one of those bomb sites.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that is possibly the worst example. That was the worst hit building in the area. There are others that sort of got impacted, but that was the worst one. Wow. And what I completely love about it, I don't think you can see it unless I really zoom in, and I don't actually know if I can zoom in on it. So I'm sorry I can't. But you may be able to see, just by this black car here, just above it, there is a couple of flags. And this is what I love about the spirit of the country, you see, is that obviously they've cordoned this off now because it's a bomb site. But they've put flags as if to say, nice try, but we're still standing. Do you see that? That little gesture of the four flags in front.
My eyesight, no, I can't see it.
But anyway, I love that. So that's the kind of spirit we're talking about there, and it's just fantastic. So that's the reason why I feel safe there. Yes, of course, when it was the alerts were going off, you just think, oh, flipping it, what am I going to do? But actually, the truth is, I genuinely wasn't as terrified as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
because everyone around you is so used to it. They're so well versed. You just kind of get on with it, is the only way to describe it.
Put it this way. When I first met my pal, right, he had a Triumph. This is how old and how far we go back. He had a Triumph Spitfire convertible. Anybody remember those? Triumph Spitfire convertible. He gave me a lift. And I said, no, you're going to put the roof down. It was a really nice... I can't do that. I got contact lenses. I said, what'd you buy the car for? You can never put the roof down because you have contact lenses. And he went, oh, well, I thought it looked nice. You know,
is that actually a thing? If you wear contact lenses, you can't have the roof down?
He wouldn't do it. I mean, this is a guy, you know, if the wind was blowing... And he's so matter-of-fact and calm about missiles and rockets coming to where he lives and living... You know, having to just go to the shelter as it's a completely matter of normalcy. I made that word up. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary, really, isn't it?
It's you don't really have much choice. You have to be matter of fact.
You got a choice. You could stay there, get blown to pieces, or you go to a shelter.
Well, no, but I want to be sort of quite clear about sort of the way, because this actually also fuels this speculation that Israel is just somehow derelict now because of all the attacks. The truth is, so much of the country is still standing. It's unbelievable how much, considering how many hundreds and hundreds of rockets have been fired over the years.
Well, I should imagine thousands of rockets now.
Yeah, well, probably thousands. But it is absolutely staggering, the fact that the country still survives, you know, and that's just this is another reason why I love it so much, is the strength of that country saying, look, you can attack me if you want, but we're going nowhere. And that's what I'm thinking. But just to respond to something that Melanie said, you flashed up just now, and she says, we do not see this in the news. Glad you kept safe, Phil. Thank you. Just to let you be clear about that photo I showed you just there, that bomb site was probably from about a year ago now or something like that. Whenever Iran really sort of, I think it was about a year ago, because I tried to go last September and it flared up. So that was from when Iran really went full on heavy attack on Israel. This was after, you may recall, Israel quite rightly bombed one of the nuclear facilities in Iran to just destabilize.
For purposes, they were, you're doing it for hospital use. They weren't going to make a bomb.
Yeah, well, to destabilize, quite rightly, the military power that President Obama gave them permission to create.
Obama, what a shit. He always was.
Yeah. Well, let's be very clear about it. I know people sort of look at him with rose-tinted glasses. He's so wonderful. Isn't it marvelous? We had the first sort of president of some sort of ethnic background in the White House. No, I want someone who, I don't care what their background is, but I want them to be good for the country. And Obama was not good for world peace, period. Right? I actually blame him for an awful lot of what's going on in the Middle East at the moment, because he was the one who jumped into bed with Iran. He was the one who said you can develop nuclear, and he was the one who basically
did he give them?
I was going to say, he was basically a one who gave them so many billions of US dollars that they could afford to build up their weaponry store. Yeah. So I blame him for what's gone on in the Middle East at the moment. Anyway, let's
really shown him his true colour. Obama, who I. You know, was he handsome? He was. He's not there. Was he handsome? Yeah. Was he a great orator? Yeah. Did he have a great sense of humour? Yes. Did he have a brilliant sense of timing when he spoke? Yes, he did. All of those things. He's very charismatic. Was he a good president? No, he was a terrible president. And I honestly believe that the black-white divide got infinitely worse, which is so ironic considering he was the first black president.
But you see, here's the thing.
I think the black-white divide in America escalated.
But you see, here's the thing is, here's the thing is, I think the best way to end racial prejudice is to stop highlighting differences. So to actually say, you know, for them to make the fuss and saying, you know, he was the first black president, that may well be true, but why do they have to highlight that? It shouldn't even be a thing.
If Chantal were here, and thank God she's not listening to this, she has a very different view. But if Chantal was here, she'd say, go live in America, and you'd see the racism there. And she's
no, I know, but what I mean is
she's acutely aware of it.
No, of course. And look, I think anyone who says there is no racism in America has got their head buried in the sand. There's racism everywhere. But what I'm saying is the reason why I believe racism is so rife everywhere is because people keep highlighting differences. If you keep saying to yourself, oh, look, we've got different skin color, therefore you need to be treated differently to me. And whether that be for positive reasons or
Oxford Union,
whether that be for positive reasons. Yeah, but if that's for positive, Is that for positive reasons or for negative reasons? Whatever it is, my argument being is that differences divide people. It's the oldest form of ruling, is divide and conquer.
Of course they bloody do. The best definition I saw, I think it was last week, about this jerk at the Oxford Union, this guy. I can't remember, it's George, I give up on the same. And it said he's a Temu, T-E-M, you know, that company, Temu, T-U-M, T-E-M-U, Temu. He's a Temu Jack Sparrow. just made me laugh. I thought that was utterly fantastic. And of course he's doubled down on everything. And well, he should step down if he had any decency, but he doesn't, and neither does the people who are behind him. So there you go.
Are you talking about the bloke who was made a comment? Union. Yeah, the president's elect, whatever the hell they call it. It's George Aberonier or something like that, I think.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is with the black president is his mother is white. Is that right? As father of mixed race son, I would never allow him to ignore his racial heritage. It's a good point. Leslie Jones is making a good point there.
No. But there's a great difference between knowing your heritage and then actually using it to cause division. There's one hell of a difference between that. Because that's not saying no one should celebrate where they come from or be who they are. That's fine. But when you, in a public space, a public environment, by actually highlighting differences, is saying people need to be treated differently. And there is where the problem lies. You know, so when, for example, the best example of that, of course, RK, is the diversity movement. So, you know, the
biggest mistake ever.
Because all that's saying is you're from a minority background, therefore you need to be given preferential treatment, and therefore indigenous white, in inverted commas, is...
Take that out of the argument. No, stop. Take colour and skin tone, please, out of the argument. The only person who should get any job is the person who is the most capable. The person
Absolutely.
Who's
That's the only way to treat with true quality.
The person who's going to do the best in that role. It's not complicated. And what DEI
because, well, you know why?
I understand why they started DEI. I get it. I understand why it was started.
I don't.
But it's gone absolutely out of control. Look at the Oxford Union. The guy didn't get great A-level results. There was people with infinitely better grades in their A-level results to go there. Why was he there? Well, join the dots. You know why he was there. And look what's happened. That's just a stupid example. Here we go. Now you've kicked it off. My wife's from a majority race. Don't mess with the Chinese.
Yeah, but my point is that I don't care where someone comes from. This is exactly my point. It doesn't matter where they come from, and it shouldn't matter.
If they come from Croydon, I'm iffy about it. The only good thing to come out of Croydon was Colin Vaines, but he didn't even come out of Croydon. He came out of Shirley. Not his mother. I mean the place called Shirley, just to be clear. It's been a hell of a week. I'm going to ask you a question now. Let's just go in there. I'd really like to keep this going for an hour, but Chantal's going to come along. We're going to discuss other things. But, right, I'm in a bit of a quandary. Not a joke. I'm in a bit of a moral quandary. My son phoned me yesterday. He lives in America. He says to me they're on the verge of a civil war, and his views are diametrically opposite to anything that I believe in. So I steered clear of it because there's no point. Not when it's family. There's just no point. And, all right. I have never liked Jimmy Kimmel. I've never liked him. I've never found him. I find him oily, oleaginous. I find him unbelievable. I never liked him. I quite like Jimmy. I like Jimmy Fallon. Right, but Jimmy Kimmel, these are American talk show hosts. Irrelevant over here. I'm talking about the principle. Irrelevant over here. But Jimmy Kimmel, big deal on ABC, which is owned with Disney, and he has the late night show, the sort of thing that Johnny Carson did so brilliantly for 30 plus years. And Jimmy Kimmel's been taken off air. And the reason that the guy was taken off air, he blatantly lied about the cowardly piece of crap murderer of Charlie Kirk. Now, whether you believe and agree with Charlie Kirk or not, no one deserves to get shot by a sniper's rifle.
Not least of all someone with a young family who's now going to grow up without a
Beautiful
father.
wife and 2 little kids, 2 little daughters. And put that to one side. Kimmel got up and said, and was trying to blame the fact that the perpetrator, this 22-year-old little shit, was a MAGA supporter, which wasn't. It was a blatant lie. And there was such an outcry, so hot on the heels of Charlie Kirk's appalling murder, that Kimmel was taken off air. And suddenly Kimmel's become the holy martyr. He is like somewhere between Jesus and Joan of Arc. And they're all screaming and shouting. Now, my problem is this, and this is what I wanted to discuss with you, all right? I loathe Jimmy Kimmel. I can't bear anything about him. But I'm a little bit concerned, because I've always been against cancel culture, remembering it's the left who have pushed the agenda of cancel culture, not the right. I've not agreed with it. I've never agreed with it, okay? I don't like it. I vote with my feet and with my wallet. I don't, there's a load of comedians I will not go. There's a load of film stars I will not go and see. A load of actors I will never, ever go and see perform in a play. Ever. All right? So I don't know where I stand on this. This is why I'm confused, because I can't stand Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm thrilled he's off air on one part of it, because my personal prejudice is against him, because I think it's a jerk. And he has lorded over when other people got cancelled. He was delighted when certain things happened. Delighted. I know it's come bitten on the arse really hard, but I don't like the fact that he's been taken off, because that goes into censorship. How do you feel? I haven't explained it very well.
Okay, well, in an absolute nutshell, I'd say that I think it depends whether or not, if you look at his being taken off air as cancel culture, I don't personally see it as that. I see him using and abusing his position with his very large audience, very large following, to actually push some quite dangerous thoughts.
Oh, yes. He's a propagandist for the Democrat Party. He's an absolute shill for the Democrats.
It's not so much about cancel culture. I think it's more about how, if you're going to abuse that position and use it to feed the population and certainly your following a load of misinformation that could actually have dangerous consequences, that's not cancelling. That's actually morally responsible to stop someone like that from doing what they're doing.
He went from being a lousy comedian to a propagandist.
Yeah. So where cancel culture comes, cancel culture comes into it, gracious me, Longy, hello. Where cancel culture comes into it is when someone is shut down for simply having an opinion that people don't like. And that's very different. If it's just an opinion, then absolutely it's their opinion. You don't have to watch them, leave them to it. But to actually feed misinformation as fact that could have dangerous consequences, that's where it's an issue.
It's interesting. Carol Vorderman, remarkably quiet, had so much to say that silicone-filled twerp, who I used to really
this is the problem. She's technically not a twerp. So.
Well,
she does twerpish things, but I wouldn't say she is one.
Well, I used to really like her. I've worked with
so did I.
I liked her a lot. I can't say
no, it's exactly the same with Dawn French. I used to think Dawn French was very good. I know.
Yeah, she can go do it.
No, totally and utterly. It's a great shame.
Let me ask you a question. All right. Because everything that's going on, and I know it's affected my son in America, it's affected me very heavily. And I've got friends and relatives who don't look at the news, never look at social media, and they're happy. And I can't pretend I'm happy. I have a level of fury and depression and all of these things constantly, and it's really affecting my mental health. I know it is. I'm aware of it. How did you feel with that piece of crap, Javier Bardem, with his scarf and the hands and the badge? How does that make you feel, Phil? Not as a presenter, as Phil Dave, the individual.
Well, how it makes me feel, I suppose, is angry, because I just don't like ignorance. I hate stupid people. And when I'm a fool who doesn't suffer fools gladly. And when you have idiots who are put in positions where they can abuse and spread misinformation to their following, that winds me up, because they're the kind of people who should be cancelled. They're the kind of people who should be shut down. I think a lot of people forget that when you have an audience, even if it's just one or two people, one has an obligation and, if you like, a moral duty to make sure that anything you are offering is either clearly stated as opinion, or make sure you know what facts are. But because we live in a day and age where facts are so hard to find, I actually, on a grander scale, I blame authorities and I blame social media companies for not clamping down on the spread of misinformation. So to me, how does it make me feel? Angry, but no more than that, honestly.
It makes me feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah, no, I'm on it. Anger is the word, definitely.
It's very difficult to know what to do to dissipate that anger, because
come off of social media, because it's changed my life, I tell you.
It's got nowhere to go.
I have removed all social media and I have never felt better.
But I run my businesses on it. There's the irony. What am I supposed to do?
Doesn't mean that you can't run a business on it. You just don't have to look at it for recreational. So don't look through feeds. Don't look at news. If you want to run your business, go for it. Your business doesn't require you to look through what other people think.
You don't know what is actually going on in the world. Is that a better thing? Being an ignorant
don't know.
fool?
There are news outlets that do share what is happening. You don't have to get news from social media. There was a time when we didn't get news from social media.
No, I think that they are showing what really is happening as opposed to what we're being told. I won't watch the mainstream. Anyway, let's lighten the mood, ladies and gentlemen. Lighten the mood. The pulchritudinous, the oriental loving. Yeah,
Oriental.
I can say the word. I don't give a shit. I'm not living in LA, Chantal. I can say oriental as many times as I like.
It's not offensive. It's a beautiful word.
Mandarin Oriental. I didn't see them changing the signage outside. The greatest walk down that I have seen in years. You going across the stage. We'll talk about it. Chantal Rickards OBE.
Hello. How are you? It feels like ages since
It is ages. It feels like a very long time.
I know. It's
been at least 4 weeks since we've all been together.
I know. I've missed you.
Oh.
Likewise.
So
how was you've been away as well, haven't you? Where was your trip? Where did you go?
I was away. I was in China.
Oh, good Lord.
I was in China, and I had 4 working days in Chengdu and then 3 fun days in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is extraordinary. I'd never been there before. I was so excited by it. It's a beautiful, brilliant city.
I've never heard anyone say something bad about Hong Kong.
No.
I've not been either.
It's staggering. All the little islands everywhere and extraordinary modern architecture. And I mean, it's busy. Don't get me wrong. But there's something about the Chinese that is really interesting, because I've only been twice now, but I feel as though I'm getting to know them slightly better. They're quite calm people. They mainly wear black and white and grey. So that's
I'm there.
Hey!
Off I go.
Hey!
Standard thing that you wear. Yeah, exactly. Standard thing that you wear. It's quite calming on the eye, actually. It's sort of interesting. Even though there are lots of reds and greens, outside the shops, but generally the people seem to have a sort of a level of, they're not very leery. I mean, my son and I, obviously, a lot younger than me. He's 28. I'm not. But he was seeing it through a young person's eyes. And he was just sort of saying that actually they all seem a lot less leery than Londoners.
Larry, there's a word. It's a word you don't hear often these days. Larry.
No, Larry.
I've got to tell you something. You sent a thing on Facebook. I've never seen a stage so spectacular in my life. You look magnificent. You looked incredible. And there's just 4 people on a stage about the size of Blue Water Shopping Centre.
Yeah.
Right. And
It
and
is.
Chantal's looking sensational. I'm just walking across, and I'm going, wow! It was so impressive.
They do the red carpet very differently there. But basically, if you're a VIP on the carpet, they invite you to go to a giant board and to have your photograph taken with
I mean, not like a board like you see here or in LA. I mean, this thing is
no. This is the
huge, like a
scale.
building
The scale
site.
is huge. The scale is absolutely huge, and you have to sign your signature on it, and then you walk off down the carpet, and it's all done very, very steadily. So one lot of four comes through, and everybody applauds, and then another lot of four comes through. So everybody gets their little spotlight, their moment in the spotlight. And the scale of the place is extraordinary. We were staying in a hotel opposite something called the Global Centre, which has the same floor square footage of 328 football pitches.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, hang on. Say that again. That's unbelievable.
The square footage, not if it was just one, but that's because there are lots of floors in it. But there are, I think, only something like maybe 10 floors, something like that. But the scale of it is such that if you took all that square footage of all the flooring, it would be 328 or 326 football pitches. It's the largest building in Asia. I mean, it's just extraordinary.
Wow.
And there's a skating rink inside and a theme park inside and hotels inside. I mean, it really is. They've just gone scale crazy.
Remind us again what you were, apart from being feted, quite likely, what were you doing in China?
Well, there was something called the Golden Panda Awards, which they created 2 years ago, which is a sort of Oscars, if you like.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably more of an Emmys than an Oscars, or the Golden Globes. It's a mixture of film and television, but film is only one category. It's mainly television programs, documentaries, drama, children's, I think, and animation, something like that. And they are international awards. And actually, the Brits and the Irish came out really well, and we won 5 different awards in the TV drama category, which was great.
What did we?
So
Notice that Phil and I saying we're getting in on the act. What did we win?
What did we win? We won awards for the last series of The Crown, for The Hardacres on Channel 5, for Bad Sisters on Apple, for what else? Can't remember what the other 2 were. But I mean,
Mrs. Brown's Boys.
No, not Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Oh,
Not Mrs. Brown's Boys. Well, maybe we should have done. No, there wasn't a comedy category, sadly.
Oh, shame.
But I had been working with the production team behind the awards, trying to do an early cut, if you like, of programs that they would like submitted into the competition. So I offered up a selection of programs that from around the world that I'd seen and I had enjoyed and I thought were good pieces of production, and then it sort of went from there. So I was one of the people just assembling some ideas right from the get-go, and it was lovely.
How are you treated? I mean, it's a serious question.
Oh my God, crazy. I mean, I had an assistant and I had a translator with me 24/7. I mean, they were literally on hand 24 hours a day if I had needed them 24 hours a day. Sichuan TV, which is the local TV station that has, I think, 70 million viewers, which, makes us look small already, did a little program about my son and I coming back to Chengdu and enjoying everything there.
How did he manage to rope himself into this trick?
Yeah. Well, he didn't quite know that he was going to be on camera for 3 days, but actually he took it all instead. He's never seen any of that sort of silly side of my career. The older one, the Oscars.
Isn't it? It's amazing. Phil, when you eventually have kids, they will not give a shit about anything that you do. I just want you to know that. No. It didn't matter what I did. Never interested. Couldn't care less.
I love the way you say when I eventually have kids, I'm far too selfish. I'm very happy in my lifestyle without any sort of restrictions.
I want to see a baby wearing a nappy and a cravat, and then I know it's...
Oh, I see. Yes, I wouldn't want to get the two of those confused.
Well, you'd know pretty soon because the baby would be far too polite to do a poo in a nappy. You know, it comes.
I did see dogs in Hong Kong wearing nappies, and that was the first time I'd seen that.
No. Ebony sometimes has to wear a nappy because she's so.
No, but I mean, this. They were like sort of baby doll outfits. These weren't because the dog was unwell and couldn't look after itself. This was a sort of fashion item.
And it saved them from clearing up the pavement, I suppose.
Exactly.
Right.
Fascinating.
And is everything? What's it like there? Because we heard Phil's description. All I can talk about is what it's like in Lidl at the moment. That's as far as I go anyway. But what's it like in China? What's it like when you're there? What's the atmosphere?
Well, the first thing I did when I got back was go to Lidl. But China is clean, tidy, quiet, not brash. The atmosphere is gentle. People are terribly helpful. English, a lot of people are learning English, so you can just about get by if you don't speak Chinese. But then now somebody was telling me that in the new retail spaces, they're getting round the problem of language because they're just about to install glass so that if I speak to you in English and you are Chinese and only speak Mandarin, on your side of the glass...
Yes, you'll see the translation, won't you? Yeah, it's amazing.
You'll
Incredible.
But Chantal, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to rain on your parade. Why do you think I wear these glasses? So I can understand Phil. Otherwise, I don't know what you're saying. Right, here's a question from, remember, Leslie's wife is Chinese. A question for Chantal. At the awards, did the Chinese ladies wear I don't know how to pronounce this, Chiosan dresses rather than Western style?
No, but good question. Mostly Western style, actually, and very beautiful. I mean, the girls are breathtakingly beautiful, and they had dresses to match. I mean, really beautiful designer outfits. I was terribly jealous.
You looked $1 million. Let me tell you, walking across that stage, you looked. I was so proud. If I'm allowed to, I went, that's my friend. I was just sitting there on my own.
It's all nonsense.
I know. I'm talking to nobody. I'm talking to the dog. There she goes. Ebony
was
the
impressed. Other thing I was quickly going to update you on was James Whale's funeral because
please. Yes,
please. I was so gutted I wasn't able to go to that.
And that was the day before I went to China, and it was a great turnout.
I understand there was the church was overflowing. I was told.
It was. I got there early because I thought if you don't get there early, you're not going to get a seat. And I really didn't want to stand up for a couple of hours. So I got there early and I got a seat and I went and sat with the old gang from Yorkshire Television, the original producers, if you like, of the James Whale radio show, which was a television show. Nigel Farage was there, way up at the front of the church. Tom Tugendhat, the MP, Matt Goss from Bros was there. And he sang a song, but James came into the church in a Yorkshire wool casket.
Yep, I did a funeral. I did a funeral, and I'd never seen it before, and it was a wool casket. I did it last week. A wool casket.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, stunning.
Really beautiful.
Stunning.
I need to ask a very silly question to both of you. How does it not collapse?
Don't know. I mean, I presume it's a cardboard thing that's covered with this.
It's the wool is on the outside. I mean, it's maybe crocheting a coffin. There's like some internal structure, but the whole of the outside is wool, and it looked. This was for a guy, and it was in pale cream. It was beautiful. I couldn't get over it. I absolutely thought it was stunningly beautiful.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
apparently it was very sort of green and eco, for which his wife apologized because she said that he would have been very cross.
I was going to say that's not very him.
No. And it was a lovely service. Was it a good service?
Brilliant service. They had his friends who were archers doing an archery sort of not parade,
guard of honor, we call it.
Guard of honor, exactly. Thank you for that. And then as they laid the casket into the ground, one archer just sent 3 arrows just out into the distance, which is incredibly moving and really rather beautiful. And Peter Straker, the actor, singer, did a song, as well as Matt Goss. And actually, it was, it had elements of showbiz, but it was still a sort of family funeral at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I understand that Dan Wootton was also there as well. And obviously all of the Talk Brigade, or a lot of the Talk Brigade were there.
Jeremy Kyle, I think, was there.
Yes, Jeremy would have been there, definitely. And also, who else wants to go there? I think Ian Collins went. So yeah, no, there were plenty of people from Talk who were there.
Yeah, one of the good.
I'm just going to mention David. David Wimble's come on, and I've known him for like a million years. And David is now a counsellor, and understanding is a counsellor for reform, and down on the coast, on the Kent coast, and he's now understanding the absolute tirade and bombardment of shit you get when you are a counsellor. So he is taking flack. This guy, who I've known forever, Wimble, is taking flack on a daily basis, and he's standing his corner, and he won't back down, in the immortal words of that song, Tom Petty. So it's nice to see Wimble up there. The funeral sounded wonderful. He was a great guy.
It was good.
And how was his wife? Was she okay?
Oh, and Bobby, Nadine was wonderful. Bobby Davro was there. I hung out a bit with Bobby Davro. It was lovely to see him again. And Jess Conrad was there.
Jesus.
Oh, wow. Now there's a name from the past.
Jess Conrad.
I hadn't worked with Jess for 30 years probably, and I had no idea he was still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's 185. And
gracious me.
Wimble is cabinet member for Kent County Council for the Environment, and he's trying to stop everything being concreted over.
Oh,
with the
now that's unbelievable. I've just had a look. Jess Conrad is 89 years old.
Yes, he is 89. As he said, many people. Yeah, many people say Jess Conrad's favourite line. He goes, "People always ask why my marriage has lasted so long, and it's so easy when you're both in love with the same person."
Good line. I like that.
And he does the other thing. Every time he's going to give a speech, he gets a spoon. Before he starts speaking, he stands up. I've seen this so many times. And he gets a spoon. He goes, "It won't be a minute." And he sort of does all that.
He does his hair in the spoon.
He does his hair in the spoon. Then he starts speaking. Yeah. Simon Withington, who you know, is Simon Withington's one of his best pals.
Okay.
You know Simon Withington. Oh, you do know Simon Withington. It'll Be All Right on the Night. He produced all that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. He's not somebody I think I've worked with. I don't know. He's his own person.
Anyway, right. So you've had a very eventful time.
I have.
China is a place that absolutely fascinates me. People always say, "Oh, do you want to go safari?" No, I really don't.
It's really worth
going. Go to India? No, I really don't. Would you like to go to China? Yes, please. I'd also like to go to Russia.
Yeah. Got to go. I was thrilled to go back. They were incredibly hospitable. And if they ask me again, I shall go again.
But you might need another assistant.
Well, I might. Exactly. So, all good fun. And
I missed this up for hours, you know.
Yeah. I missed the Emmys. So they're good and bad in that.
The Emmys? Thank God you missed it. And do you know what?
Well.
If I ever run into that Hannah, what's her name? She better pray we never meet. We better pray. And I am furious because about just before a lockdown or just after lockdown, I went to Soho to see her in stand-up.
Ah.
I just went there to do her stand-up show, and I sick to my stomach.
No.
What she did. Sick to my stomach what that idiot did.
Hang on. Do you mean Hannah Einbinder?
Yes,
or do you mean
I do. Yes, I do.
Right.
That's all right.
Okay. She's the girl from Hacks.
Yes, who does stand-up, and I went to see her in Soho do stand-up. Right. She was pretty damn good. I was really impressed. I was a fan. Okay. I love Hacks. Right. I love Hacks.
Yeah, Hacks.
And what she did at the Emmys, she's finished for me. Finished.
Okay.
Not that she could give a damn. She could care less, but it really, really upset me deeply. And you?
No, didn't see that, but Adolescence was the big British winner, and
Oh, you mean the documentary that Keir Starmer likes so much? That one.
Oh, stop it!
Documentary.
It was a good piece of acting.
No, of course, it's got Stephen Graham. How can it not be a good piece of acting?
Exactly.
Stephen Graham, the greatest.
Yeah.
The greatest.
So that basically that sort of brings us up to date, really, of where I've been, what I've been doing, and all good stuff. But lovely to be home, and it's nearly.
Is it? You like being home, don't you?
I love it. I love it. How can you not like it?
I personally love
go.
being back with friends and family, but believe me, I do not love being in this country anymore. When I see some of the way that other countries behave and ultimately sort of know how to run things, then, and I'm not even just talking about Israel. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of what's going on with Spain at the moment, I happen to think their governments are vile. But at the same time, in Spain earlier this year, the roads are just faultless. There are no potholes there. Things just work, function, and this country is very sad what's become of it. Very, very sad.
Oh,
Finished.
dear. I'm sorry you think
Finished. It's over.
I wished I didn't, because I loved the England I remember, for what it's worth.
Yeah, but it's gone.
Listen, Wandsworth is great. Move to Wandsworth. It's all fine here.
Can't afford it.
It's the transport that does me for Wandsworth. Yes, it's interesting. No, I'm itching to go.
Right.
Itching to go.
Put it on the list.
Don't know where. Maybe Italy. Oh no, Phil, I got umbrage. I got to take. I don't know why you think the Spanish government's bad. I mean, why? What's wrong about saying that they want to nuke an entire neutral country? I mean, really. If you're going to take offence,
you're right. Sorry, it's only an opinion.
If you're going to take offence
isn't
at
it?
little tiny, harmless remarks by a load of raving lunatics, then.
Well, look, I tell you why I do have some hope for the West. Is that, as we all know, is that governments and political opinions go in cycles.
Yep.
And at the moment, it's very apparent to me that we're in a wave of lunacy when it comes to the West. And I have to cling on. And this is across the board, by the way. I don't even care if you're right-leaning or left-leaning, whatever it is. I don't think it's that at all. But I have to cling on to that with not wishing to tempt fate. How much worse can it get with some of the lunatics we've got? Hopefully, bit by bit, we will see new blood creep through who are not quite as bonkers. That's the only thing I can cling on to.
Not quite as mentally ill. They're mentally ill. We're not allowed to be. We're not being allowed to call it. And some of the people who are up there, declaiming this, that, and the other, you're mentally ill. Get some bloody help, for Christ's sake.
Well, there are definitely those who would appear to give that impression, but I can't say that any of us on this show are in a position to make a diagnosis. But I wouldn't be surprised, should I suggest, if they were indeed diagnosed by a professional.
I think some of them are raving mad. Right. Anything quickly? Have you seen that? Well, not even
seeing as you're actually here to talk about TV, sorry.
Anything quickly? I Fought the Law with Sheridan Smith.
I haven't seen it. I want to.
I binge watched it.
It is basically the Sheridan Smith show. And if you love Sheridan Smith, this is the program for you. She is rocking. She is so good in this. It's a true story about a woman who changed the British law around double jeopardy. I don't know if you ever saw that film years ago, Double Jeopardy, where somebody can't be tried twice for the same
crime. Yeah.
And this woman lost her daughter in 1989. Her daughter was murdered rather dreadfully. The local police having searched the house for 5 days, didn't find her until her body was found 80 days later in the house.
In the house?
Yeah, it was pretty ghastly.
How they missed it?
They had missed it. I mean, awful. But basically the mum, who is called Anne Ling, and this is one of her children. She decides that the law has to be changed because basically the guy gets off. They have two court cases. The jury can't agree, gets thrown out. And then he's caught in a pub telling people that he's murdered this girl and got away with it. So she fights to get the law changed, and it's great. It's really good. It's only 4 parts. It's ITV. Everybody can watch it, and it's
I
really
gotta
worth.
say,
She'll
I'm
get
not
all
a,
the
I'm not a
time.
big Sheridan. I'm not a big Sheridan Smith fan because she upset my dear friend Jane Kerner, who used to look after her.
dear.
So I'm not a big fan of her. I admire her as an actress. I'm just not a fan of her personally. But she was superb, acting off the scale. The story was great. There wasn't a dull scene. It was beautifully written, fabulously acted, utterly credible. Bravo to everybody concerned with that. It was excellent.
Right.
And
Adding it to the watch list as we speak.
Yeah, that's the one. And as Chantal said, it's only 4 parts. You can get it on ITVX, the world's worst, most unstable digital
Isn't
platform.
it shocking? It's terrible.
It's absolute shit. But if you can put up with it and buffering and losing the show halfway through and swearing at the television, well worth it. It's a great series. I Fought the Law on ITVX. Yeah. Really good.
Love
really
this. Good.
Very, very good.
Actually, like that.
She was mesmerising in the part.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something to you, which you don't normally hear. It's not a spoiler alert. There's an end scene where the actress Sheridan Smith meets the real Anne Ling.
So beautiful because I
welled up. I welled up. I was sitting there and I thought, oh, you idiot, you absolute twat. And there's me and Ebony. I'm like, oh, she couldn't care less. She's a mini schnauzer. She's really not that emotional, especially because she's Austrian. So anyway, but it just got me. It just absolutely caught me.
About 15 minutes before the end, I thought, if they're clever, in the end credits, we'll see the 2 of them together. Yeah. And in fact, it comes before the end credits.
And it was so
beautiful moment.
Neat. I'm not going to spoil how it happens. It was so neatly done, and it wasn't like rammed in your face. Aren't we smart? It was just so subtle.
Yeah, very deftly done.
And it just caught me, and I absolutely, even now thinking about it, I'm getting a bit,
It's a bit like the closing scene from. Did you ever watch the film Lion?
Oh,
with Dev Patel.
Loved it. No.
It's honestly, I think I'd go so far as to say it's, I think, one of my favorite films. It's just brilliant. Yeah. So the premise of Lion, if you haven't seen it, is it's about this chap who was separated from his mother. He lives in Spain. His name is Saru. Mm-hmm. Lives in India. Separated from his mother when he goes with his older brother to. I don't know where his brother was some sort of like evening worker, not in that way, you understand. He just sort of did some sort of night ferrying or something like that. Went with him and got separated from his brother at a train station. He then goes to look for him on a train, winds up on this train going right the other side of the country. Saru is about 5 years old, by the way, I should say. Right the other end of the country. And then because he winds up in a part of India that doesn't speak the local dialect that his family speak, and he doesn't speak Hindi, he can't explain who he is and where he's from. So he gets put into an orphanage and eventually gets adopted out to a couple in Australia.
What?
And it's a bonkers story, but it's absolutely true. And it's about how he traces, using modern technology, his roots back to India and where he comes from. And he, without wanting to spoil it, it's kind of well documented. He does find his mother again. I'm not going to say any more than that because there is more to the story, but the fact that you actually do get the 2 reunited, there's this brilliant thing at the end of the film where it actually shows the real Saru and his mum being or meeting up again with his adopted mum, and it's incredible. So it just reminded me of that.
And I went to a lovely little launch at the Consul General's in LA with Nicole Kidman and Dev Patel and the young actor who plays the little.
Oh wow, who played her? Yeah, goodness.
And had my photograph taken with him because I was so impressed with his acting. He's
very good.
Chantal, I hate to drop this on you, but has Nicole got over me yet?
I don't know. I haven't asked recently. I think she's still in therapy.
Right. That's what I was looking for, but okay.
She's a nice woman.
She's a very nice woman. Bizarrely, years ago, I did meet her and she was absolutely charming.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
At a BAFTA event or not?
No. I was producing when I had my.
It was actually on the Northern Line. You just bumped into her.
The other person on the carriage. No, I was producing what was then the the Film Awards, Evening Standard.
Oh yeah.
History, but it was the Film Awards. It was the year that Babe came out, and it was a lovely, glittering event. And I had a production company then, and we put the whole thing together. And at the end of the evening, she'd walked across the dance floor. I saw her, Nicole Kidman, and then she turned, walked all the way back, which she didn't have to do. Who the hell am I? You know, she's never ever going to see me again in her life. And so I just want to thank you for a very nice evening. Thank you so much for everything you did. And I'm like, bloody hell. And then she smile. I'm like,
And I just want to thank you both for a very nice show. But alas, it's 1 o'clock, which means I have
you've got to go.
disappear.
You've got to go. I
Carry
understand.
on
Welcome
as you
back,
were.
and I'm glad you're in one piece.
Thank
Welcome
you so
back,
much. It's
Phil.
good
We've
to be
missed
back.
you
See
very
you
much.
soon.
Missed you a lot.
Bye.
Good to see you.
I missed the
Well,
guy.
that's
Yeah,
then.
so she
Can they get off
then-
script? What do you...
Go away now. And I said I missed him. I'm allowed to say
Yeah.
that. And she was charming.
Good.
Which was
Well,
just,
I met her a couple of times, and I thought she was delightful on every occasion I met her.
and not mentioning any names, but I can tell you that Chantal has met everybody and anybody, and the stories are hair-raising. You go, but I really, and I'm such a punter. I go, but I really like them. Well, you should. And it's like, oh God, when the camera stops and the mic is off, Christ, the mask comes off and the monsters are revealed. Chantal, welcome back. And as I say, I wasn't winding you up. I thought you looked so elegant and fabulous.
Bless you.
On that stage, and you look fabulous. You can, if you see, it's on the social media. And I've never seen a stage so huge. It was unbelievable. It was great, and we're
Good stuff.
always thrilled that you come on a Friday because I know
Lovely to be
how
here.
busy you are. Bless you. Have a good
Have a
weekend,
good weekend.
and you have a lovely weekend. Bye bye.
Take
So that just leaves moi, and then there was me. Okay, it's been a hell of a week, quite frankly, on a personal level in some ways with my old health, but it's I'm bouncing back. That's the main thing, and positive mental attitude, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So thank you for another week of joining. Thank you for joining Neil Loggy Long on because I was busy with, like last week was 4 funerals. The reverse of Richard Curtis, 4 funerals and a wedding was last week, so it was a bit full on. And a wedding tomorrow. So anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. The weather looks pretty good for a change. I've now got to battle Amazon and get a refund. That's the excitement of my life. And take care, be good, and remember, no hurty words. Bye, everybody.